Okay, guys, are you ready for this? This is this is going to be an event this evening. It's going to be interesting. Just to give you a heads up, real quick, as far as what I watch for updates during the stream, I should preface this by saying you guys know that I am not a fan of any national media outlets. I'm not an MSNBC guy, CNN guy, Fox News guy, none of them. The one exception I make to that is on elections because I think John King at CNN is one of the most knowledgeable people I've ever seen in any field. The guy's a savant. He's nuts. He's got to have an eidetic memory. So I do watch him, and he's completely nonpartisan. I remember in 2016 when things, obviously CNN has majority left leaning anchors and personalities. When things were coming off the wheels, or the wheels were coming off in 2016, you could almost see him getting a little exasperated because he's a strict numbers guy. And he would be saying, okay, this needs to happen here, that needs to happen there, and this will happen here, but it doesn't look good. They kept throwing what ifs at him. Well, what if this group comes in really late? And he's like, listen, I'm not saying that miracles can't happen. I'm telling you what the numbers are. So I couldn't even tell you which way that guy leans, and that's a compliment to him. Let's see who's in. Say a Skybomb on Blue. Hi, Chrome, Astra, Ilios, Emily, Derp, E-Dog. Hi, Jill. Hi, Morgan. Yarbra, Wolverine's in. Anonymous Prepper Channel. Ah, good. Gang's getting in here. Oh, I just pushed the stream up by 15 minutes just because I had thought, I was just going by memory, which is something I should never do. I had thought that first returns or polls start closing at 7 p.m. here in America, and apparently there are some that come in at 6. So I figured we should get a little. We want to be here when the first numbers start coming in. And as I said, if you want to follow along with me, if you want to have on updates, watch anybody you want. I'm not trying to put anybody over. I'm just telling you I watch CNN because I like John King. So if you want to see what I'm seeing, that's what I'm watching. Obviously, I can't put it on the stream. I saw the phone call fake, Chromis. Yeah, there's been a lot of cringe over the last couple days. About to do your stream later? Good for you. YJC, good for you. I'm so excited. There's a 100% chance Lunatic says half the people I know will be pissed off tomorrow. True. And now, as far as what I've been hearing or what we've been able to see so far today, there's really only 3 states, as far as states that were in any sort of question as to which way they would go. There are 3 states that give you updates, not on the votes, of course, but by party affiliation who's coming in. They are Arizona, Nevada, and Florida. Florida, if things hold the way they have looked in Florida, it's monstrous for Trump. Last I saw, and I checked about an hour ago, Trump was up, or I'm sorry, Republicans. Let's make that clear. Republicans were up, the Republican vote, by almost 1.2 million. That's crazy. Brian, thanks for the super chat. Says, I'm a conservative that likes country, metal, and techno. Wow, what's wrong with me? Well, believes in the Second Amendment, and I work for Hollywood sometimes. Good luck figuring me out. Brian, I'm all over the place too, pal. I say that all the time. I am so all over the place that, yeah, I don't fit anywhere. That said, with Florida, early indicators look really strong. Again, Republicans voting in Nevada and Arizona as well. And I know a lot of people will say, well, they're swing states. If that's the way they're going, it's a Trump night, and that's not necessarily true. It's not uncommon at all for different parts of the country, even in swing states, to vote entirely different. But yes, it looks really good for Trump in Arizona, looks good for Trump in Nevada, and it looks like Florida's just going to be a massacre. Yeah. Oh, Red General says, isn't Florida usually a good bet for Republicans? Now, I should say, yes, absolutely. Florida's definitely red. For several years there, it had gone purple, where you could see it flipping. See, this is the unfortunate thing that people do just for clicks. you see, I see a lot of the left leaning pundits on social media just trying to get people's hopes up. Just today, there's one dude specifically who was guaranteeing Florida goes to Kamala. Florida's never been in jeopardy. It hasn't. If these numbers hold, if people are voting, if Republicans are, and they typically are, voting 95% for Republicans, Democrats voting 97% for Democrats, and in Florida, you can expect probably close to a 50-50 split on the independents or unaffiliated. If that's the case, as I said, Florida is, I was thinking he would win Florida by 5 or 6. It would be a lot more than that. And that's a lot of ifs, if that holds. If that holds up. Yeah, the male youth vote does look strong. We really don't have a lot of information except anecdotal on any other state. You can go online right now. For instance, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is huge. You can see people claiming that it's a ghost town, and you can see pictures and videos to back that up. And you can see people claiming that enthusiasm is off the charts, and you can see pictures and videos to back that up. So we just don't really know. We have no idea. The other swing states, other than Nevada and Arizona, you're really not going to have a good idea of where things stand until the first results start coming in. All we do know is what was done in the early vote and the mail-in vote, and across the board, obviously Republicans have been overachieving there, but is that because 2020 was the COVID year, and more Democrats obviously were taking precautions than Republicans, so is that why there was more mail-in? There's so many ifs. We just got to wait and see. But then, as I said, the sheer numbers of Republican votes versus Democrat votes in Nevada and Arizona look very strong for Republicans. The other thing that shocked me, CNN is running some exit polls right now. When they run exit polls, they don't necessarily ask who you voted for. They ask you things about the economy and things of that nature. I was looking for the ones about it's on a scroll. I'll see it again. I should have written it down because you guys know my memory. But I believe the one about are you satisfied with where the country is right now? The dissatisfied and very dissatisfied, or I'm paraphrasing it, was at about 72%. That doesn't bode well for Harris. Here we go. Feeling about the way things are going in U.S. Dissatisfied and angry add up to 72%. That's feeling about the way things are going right now. Dissatisfied 43, angry 29. That's not good for the current administration, and of course, Harris is part of the current administration. So don't put a ton of stock into exit polls. They give you a little glimpse into things here or there. But yes, if I were in the Harris camp, that would bother me. I would be very disturbed by that. That's cool, Alexis. Alexis says, don't know that much about elections, just watching for the entertainment of it. Absolutely. Who is looking likely to win right now? Spaz, you really can't say. Again, my inkling coming in was I was given a slight edge to Trump. I've seen nothing to change my opinion. And again, with Arizona and Nevada coming in the way they are, if anything, it would strengthen my opinion a little bit. But Pennsylvania is so important, and we have no idea what's going on in Pennsylvania. None. Oh, Dr. Ghost says it'll be weird seeing Kamala certifying the election if Trump wins. Yes, it would be it's going to be very awkward. Yeah. You just voted in Pennsylvania, did you, Brian? Cool. Ando says I've seen slight edge to Harris. Slight edge in, I don't know what you mean by slight edge. The national polls, the latest average had basically a dead heat, the average of the national polls. But we know historically, Democrats want the national poll to be at least 3% in their favor, or it typically means trouble for them in the Electoral College. That's been historically. So I'm not sure what you're seeing that look good. You can expand on it. I'll read it for Harris. Connor says, in Florida, I voted this morning and it was pretty busy for the time it was. Yeah, Florida's coming in with monstrous numbers, just crazy numbers. But as I said, now we're 4 minutes, 40 seconds away from first polls closing. This John King on CNN, and I don't like any of the national news outlets, but this guy is the exception. He's good. He's a savant. Because I've watched, because I'm a political junkie, so I watch elections, every year. And they'll ask him shit like, well, John, what do you think about Buttfuck County, Pennsylvania, and they're 27 people, and he'll know, well, now in the past, they've been heavily this way, but I'll tell you, you know what happened in Buttfuck County this year? And he knows. It's like, dude, you got a problem or something. No, seriously, I'm an admirer of his. And that's good to know. Yarborough says, yeah, I just spent almost an hour in line to vote in Minnesota. That's interesting. A lot of people, and again, it's just my opinion, a lot of the right has been saying Minnesota's in play for Trump. I don't think so. I don't think so. They've been saying Minnesota, Virginia, and New Mexico may all be in play. Virginia, I would say he might make a run at. Minnesota and New Mexico, I say no way. Still getting political texts. Jesus Christ. It never ends, you guys. Yeah, McCouchy's gaming. Again, both sides like to do a little bit of dreaming here and there. And I think Minnesota, and certainly as somebody who used to live in New Mexico too, but certainly New Mexico, they're dreaming. He may close gaps from past years, but I don't think he's a serious threat in either one of those. I think he's going to close the gap in New Jersey this year, but he's not going to win it. But New Jersey's had some shocking things coming out as far as how people are voting as far as by party affiliation, but not enough to take the state, I don't think. Austin says, I'm more in favor of Harris, not Trump. What I really want is an America where no matter who wins, we can peacefully accept the outcome. That would be nice, Austin. I'm with you 100% on that. With you completely. Christine, confident election being conducted fairly and accurately. Confident 68, not confident 31. We know that's, again, I voted for Trump. I lean right. I'm confident. We've seen stuff all day. Both sides are on top of everything that's going on everywhere. I'm very confident in it. Concerned about violence as a result of election. 71% yes, 27% no. That's understandable. No matter who wins, there's a serious concern potentially about violence. We're a minute and 40 seconds till polls close. I don't know if they'll have any numbers for us right away, but just in case, I'm going to pop in an earbud. Hold on, we got a super chat coming in. Dr. Caspal, thanks for the super chat. He says, I got verification from USPS that my absentee ballot arrived. Good. I'm voting in North Carolina. Out of my hands now, feels better knowing my partisan. It does, doesn't it, though? It's satisfying to vote. And Aaron, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, sending love from Wales. Very nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Very kind. We got just a little over a minute. First polls closed. Now, again, that doesn't mean they'll have numbers right away. Sometimes they do. Depends on the states. I should have been more well-informed and checked which states were closing at 6. Yeah, well, I think Jesse was talking about Joe and Kamala. I think there's some friction there. With the way everything went down, you can only imagine there would be. Gibster says, vote Mu Ding for POTUS New World Order. Were they, Connor? Thank you. He says, Kentucky and Indiana were first in 2016. If those two are first, it would be shocking if they were anything but red. Those are... The only thing you can get from that is, if numbers for the Republicans are higher or lower than in the past. Because they're, you would imagine they're both going red. If not, it's all over. All right, here we go. They're giving us an update. Election night in America. And for those, again, we got a lot of people just coming in. If you're wondering which coverage I'm watching, I watch CNN only because I'm a nerd for John King. He's one of the I'm a stat nut, and he's one of the greatest stat guys I've ever seen. I'm not a fan of any major news media outlet, so don't let that be my watching it shouldn't be an endorsement of anything other than that John King is a genius. Yeah, we know what's going on. Oh, so basically we started an hour early for next to nothing. They're not going to have anything for us now. Yeah, 7 p.m. is Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, South Carolina, Vermont, Virginia. So who closed at 6? Oh, parts. Okay, parts of certain states. Gotcha. Okay. Who do I think is going to win, TF? I had been predicting all along, well, not all along, in the days leading up to the election, I think Trump's got a slight edge. Electoral College. I don't think he can win. I don't like his odds of winning the popular vote, but I think he wins the election, the important part. Hold on, we got another super chat coming in, and I can't find my buttons. We knew that. Brian, thanks for the super chat. Says, final thought: is it not weird the biggest day surrounding our country isn't a federal holiday? Open the schools for voters, close it for kids. Yeah, I would agree with that. I agree with that completely. I don't. And a lot of people have been saying that. And now I know the response to that is, well, with early voting everywhere and voting by mail, it's not necessary to make it a holiday because it's so convenient to vote. Still, I think it's just kind of, it would be a respectful thing. Now, where I worked for a municipality. I worked for a city in upstate New York. We did get that day off. That was negotiated into our contract. Election day was a day off for us. But again, we work for a municipality, so it kind of makes a difference. And Mintman, thanks for the super chat. Says, Curtis, when I win as surprise candidate, I'm appointing you as head chef. Get the peanut butter. Oh, there's a lot of things you could appoint me as, but head chef's not going to be good, pal. That's it. I can make peanut butter, and I can like nuke hot dogs. Oh, okay. I guess I'm pretty well rounded. I would make a great chef. Chrome says, hold on, let me get Chrome's link over here. She says the BBC has some details. BBC's always on top of this shit. Oh, they don't have any details yet, though. Okay. Yeah, I see that they're live tracking, but they don't have anything yet. Also, Edgy says, you an all beef or beef and pork hot dog guy? I like the hot dogs that have like assholes and hooves and stuff in them, the crap ones. Not surprisingly with my diet. Hey, Lex. He Dump versus Hanukkah. Well, it's definitely, I mean, South Park is on the pulse of everything. It is definitely giant douche versus turd sandwich. There's little doubt about that. Giuseppe says, how cooked is Elon if Trump loses? Yeah. Yeah, boy. The only thing with Elon is, even with having, if Trump loses and he's got that many powerful enemies, he's still got a shit ton of money, and that takes you a long way. Which VP do you like more, Vance or Walz? I like JD Vance, but I'm not a Tim Walz fan. Again, being a politics nerd, I knew of Walz, obviously, and knew about him before he was picked as VP. I've never cared for Walz. To me, he's extreme left, and I don't like extremists on either side. Hold on here. We got another super chat. Oh, Aaron, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it. He says, Benag. That's bang out of order, that is. Thanks, Aaron. I appreciate that. at, at my age and with my brain damage, there was always a good chance I was going to read that as bang anyway. What else we got here? Brady says, Curtis, please read. Trump has Kansas, does he? I believe you. They haven't posted or said anything about it here on CNN, but Trump having Kansas is a foregone conclusion. Have you seen any numbers? Even that won't tell you much. I mean, Kansas is so deep red that it really... But they haven't given us anything on CNN yet. Again, hold on. They might be telling us now. Oh, no, this is just an exit poll. We don't care about this one. King of Icy says, looks like Trump's wife has a black eye in the latest appearance earlier. That wouldn't be good. Jill says, whoever wins, there's always an after party. Yeah, absolutely. Let me check this super chat. Christian, thank you for the super chat, pal. Good to see you, big man. Good to see you. Odds look like they just closed at Bet Online Sportsbook. Implied win probability at closing was around 60% Trump. Polling indicates Georgia and Pennsylvania will be very close. Yes, it does. I think, and this one I readily admit I could be wrong on, just my opinions. Pennsylvania, I just don't know. Georgia, I think Trump's going to get. Just the way I watched the polling go, and I don't know. I could be, obviously I could be wrong. Wisconsin, I think, is going to be really interesting. Michigan's going to be a tough poll for Trump. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but that's going to be a tough one for him to get. Not impossible, but I don't think very likely. Kenny, thanks for the super chat, pal. I think whoever wins Georgia wins the whole thing. Do you? See, I would say that about Pennsylvania. I think Pennsylvania is going to be the... If you win Pennsylvania... With it being this close, I think you're in, especially for Trump now with Nevada and Arizona looking that strong. I mean, with just having those ridiculous numbers of Republican votes in. Let's see, we got another super chat. Licks, thanks for the super chat. Says, okay, right wingers, now I need you to promise me that if Kamala wins, you're not going to say that the election was rigged like you did last time. Yeah, well, you guys already know where I stand on that. The simple fact is, again, I'm a politics nerd. When my wife and I went to sleep that night, election night in 2020, because she doesn't follow politics close like I do, she was like, wow, it looks good for Trump, doesn't it? I said, no, it really doesn't. I mean, the numbers were all there. We knew how many mail-in ballots were still out there, and we had a real good idea of how hard they were going to break Democrat. So I wasn't surprised by that at all. But yes, if Kamala wins, Licks, I guarantee you, absolutely guarantee you, there will be a significant, big number of people in this country very upset, feeling that it was stolen. Okay, here we go. Okay, Kentucky, we're getting some odds. Kentucky, Trump is up 60%. Indiana, right now, it's just early. Trump's got 72% of the vote. In Indiana, Kamala's got 27. But again, those aren't surprises, guys. Kentucky is 61 to 38. That might even be a little high. My memory is not good, but that might even be a little closer than usual in Kentucky. Kentucky and Indiana, again, those should be slam dunks. If those were close at all, it would look like a bad night for Trump. Those should not be anywhere near close. Quasar says, and thanks for the super chat, electoral map from Diddy's house would be blurry. Yeah, yes, I agree. Yes, it would. Can you run a Trump Kamala poll here? Louis says, we can't do polls on the streams anymore. There's probably, it's my bad. There's probably a third party plugin I could have set up for it. Yeah, and I'm on Streamlabs. I think they even have one. My bad, guys. I should have set that up. YouTube used to provide it for us, but I don't know. I like many of the other things. Let me double check. But yeah, they took it away. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. That's on me. I should have thought to get a third party set up in that, so we could have had a poll. Kenny, thanks for the super chat. Says true. More importantly, it's Chili's 3 for me night. That a boy. Oh, oh. If I ate anything from Chili's, oh man, my toilet would be. It would be assaulted. It would be a sad, sad time for my porcelain. Yeah, Chrome says, now imagine if this poll is as close as our Pokemon versus Bojack poll. For those who don't know what we're talking about over at the Goosh, our Patreon, we the things we watch are voted on. And we just had a poll. Pokemon and Bojack ended up as a 1.1 vote differential. Oh, and you guys think there's tension about this? You haven't seen tension till you see Pokemon versus BoJack Horseman. Huh. This is peanuts here. Brady, it's okay. I'm good with my source. As I said, John King is on CNN. He's their numbers guy. I could care less about anybody else on CNN, but John King is a genius. I love watching him. Going nowhere says some foods get the bowels moving faster than tonight. Chili's one of them for me. You and me both, pal. That's one of the annoying things as I've gotten older is how my stomach can't handle more things that used to be the only thing I couldn't deal with and still can't deal with, of course, is heat. Any type of spices or anything. But now there's a lot of foods that I think get to be an old fart. Sucks. Yeah, Jill says you can always trust John King. Again, the biggest compliment I can give John King is I'm a politics nerd, so I watch him every election year, every year on election day, and I still don't know. I couldn't tell you which way he leans politically. I have no idea, and that's a compliment. That information might be out there somewhere, but all I know of John King is what I watch of him doing his job, and I have no idea which way he leans. Mooseville says, not going to say who I voted for, but you have no idea how badly I felt like writing in Jesse Ventura. Yeah, being an ex-wrestler, I should have you would think I would have a little bit of a connection towards Ventura, but he's nuts. And I'm not even talking necessarily politically. I'm just saying I think the man's nuts. Excuse me. Really, David says I put spice on just about all my food, from homegrown peppers to hot sauce. I'll be right up front with you guys. I'm the biggest bitch for heat you've ever seen. I can't handle it. I never have been able to. I'm a ginger, Us gingers and spicy foods generally don't do well together. TF says, hi Curtis, just want to say I've been following the channel for the last 8 years. Oh, very cool. From age 16 to 24, you're the same age as Spaz Kid. Just want to say a huge thank you for all the content you gave us. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Quasar says Ventura was going to be RFK's running mate, but he chose money over votes. Yeah, Oh, wait. We got some race alerts. Yeah. Well, in Indiana and Kentucky, no shit. Now Kentucky's gone to 65 to 34. It's early, but that one's not changing, guys. Kentucky is Trump, and so is Indiana. Oh, Indiana, it's even bigger. He's 72% to 27, and that's with only 3,500 votes in, but you can pretty much expect that's the way the night's going to go in those two. Brady says, hey, Curtis, I challenge you to the one-chip challenge. Why would I do the one-chip challenge? I just told you guys. I just got through saying that. I do not like heat at all. Yeah, I saw that. Look Fun says, bomb threats sent to Georgia voting sites, including Cyrillic letters. Yeah, It's sad. There's never a shortage of scumbags, never a shortage of lunatics. Now, John King is on now, and I told you I'm a big fan of his. He's trying to do the best he can to make some. All they've got is Kentucky and Indiana. He's looking to make some assumptions, but you really can't tell anything. Right? Oh, yeah. Wow, 33% in that county is up 81% to 18. But that means nothing. When you have results from the states that are heavily, significantly one way or the other, then fluctuations from past years don't mean as much. So, again, Kentucky and Indiana, we know who's winning, and he's going to win comfortably. Oh, okay. Now, Kenton County, he's saying that, yeah, outside of Cincinnati. I'm interested to see this. So Trump's at 59%, and that's a border to Cincinnati, so that should be one that Trump doesn't dominate quite as significantly. And he's right where he was a little ahead of where he was against Biden, so no real change there. Who do you see taking Senate and House? I think the Senate's definitely Republican. I think they take West Virginia, Montana easily. That gives them the Senate. And I think they're probably going to take Ohio too. So I think Senate's definitely Republican, and I think the House, you can flip a coin. I think it's going to be that close. Henry says, Curtis, if Trump loses, do you think we'll see a January 6th part 2? Not at the Capitol. Henry, I don't think they would fall into that again. I think that'll be well secured. Do I think there will be issues? I certainly hope not. But if you're asking me what I think, yeah, probably. But I just don't think they'll be at the Capitol. Yeah, I was gonna say it's just strictly curiosity right now, John. Those It's tough for old John King. He's the numbers guy, and you just can't glean much from numbers in Kentucky and Indiana. Now, if Kentucky and Indiana were running where Trump's just in the 50s, then you could take something from it. Or if Trump was in the 90s, you could take something from it. But outside of those extremes, that really doesn't mean anything. Yeah, as I said, the Senate Republicans, the House, I just don't know. It's a toss up. There's so many individual races that are so close, Gabriel. I just don't know. I can't. There's so many close races that I can't even get them all in my head. You know what I'm saying? To try and give you a good idea. I think it's an absolute coin toss, as 50-50 as it gets. Yeah, Gabriel also says there have been reports the National Guard has been stationed in a few states. Yeah, they're on alert in Nevada, Washington State, and Oregon that I know of. Excuse me. David says, I think no matter who wins, there will be riots. Now, again, that's not something I take any joy in, but yes, I think no matter who wins, there will be significant civil unrest. Let's just hope it doesn't get completely out of hand. Austin says, so I wonder, how does Trump felony charges and still ongoing stuff work if he is elected? Austin, that's each case against Trump, from what I've been able to glean, it would affect them differently. Obviously, any federal charges he was facing, he could pardon himself. State charges, I'm not really 100% sure. I'm not positive. Look Fun says, I was surprised to see a Kennedy on the ballot. Yeah, before Kennedy dropped out, I mean, he was doing a significant number. He wasn't going to win, but he was doing a significant number as an independent. And we got a super chat from Sajil. Thanks, my friend. He says if Trump wins, we got to see the Oh, let me read it on this side. That would make more sense. We got to see the CNN and MSNBC meltdown. Come on, Curtis, please. It'll be hilarious. I can't post anybody's feed to the stream though, pal. That would get shut down in a heartbeat. And Devil Jinx, thanks for the super chat. It says Curtis 2024 Liberty and waifus for all. It's absolutely just the wrong order. Waifus and then, if there's time, Liberty. Yeah, absolutely. Chrome says, no, we want to see Cenk. Isn't that how I pronounce the name? Cenk, Uyghur, and TYT Meltdown. I'll tell you, shockingly, Chrome, Cenk has been a little bit reasonable with his voice recently, which has shocked me. When they were talking, when you had all the pundits on the left coming after Trump for saying that he wanted Liz Cheney lined up in front of a firing squad, I was shocked to see he came out on his X account, on his social media, and said, you guys need to stop. That's not what he said, and you make all of us look stupid by taking things out of context. He said, we're supposed to not be the side that doesn't do those things. I was shocked to see him say that. Oh, yeah. Look Fun says, Jon Stewart show tonight will be wild no matter who wins. Yeah, and Jon Stewart and I, again, is somebody that I have very little in common with politically, but I think he's a funny man. I always thought Jon Stewart's a funny guy. Which is unusual because I don't think there's a lot of really good political comedians. Yeah, it's out there, Chrome. I saw it myself. I was shocked. And that's not the only thing he said. Not that he's changing his leaning or anything, but it's just so shocking to see him actually being fair about things. And boy, was he taking a beating from the extreme left for saying that. But he was right. He's like, that's not what he said. You guys know that's not what he said. So don't do stupid shit like that. It makes us all look bad. It makes us look dumb. Henry says, I find it hilarious that Trump, a billionaire yuppie who has handed everything and never worked a day in his life and wears 8 inches of makeup, somehow convinced people that he's a tough guy. You think so? Do you think so? Well, yeah, a lot of people do think he's a tough guy. Again, I vote for him based on policy. I've told you guys, as a native New Yorker, I never liked him. And we were talking about this the other day. The tough guy thing, I never thought, only because you guys know I was a professional wrestler for years, so I followed wrestling forever. I always thought that Vince McMahon was the most unathletic guy I'd ever seen until Donald Trump got involved with the WWE, and it was like, I saw him just trying to throw a punch and stuff. And it's like, no, it's this dude right here. CJP says, obviously the third parties won't win. Do you think we'll see a major uptick in the vote for them compared to other years? No, I don't think it'll be a major uptick, CJP. Now, if Kennedy were still running as an independent, yes. With Jill Stein and the others, no, I don't think so. Jill Stein will get a lot of support from the Muslim sector because they don't want to vote for Trump or Kamala because of their support for Israel. But other than that, and so you might see an uptick in the numbers based on that, but I think that's the only difference you'll see. Let's see. Legionary Force says in the UK we had our election back in July. It's now America's turn. Good luck, guys. Stay safe. Love your vids, Curtis. Much love from the UK. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, my friend. We still have a huge UK and larger extent European contingency here. And I've said many times in the early days of this channel back in 2011, if it weren't for the UK group, this channel might not even still be here. Only because they were such a huge part of what we were doing right from the get-go for whatever reason that it's what started the UK group are the ones who actually started giving me that feel of community that I always wanted. That's why I started a YouTube channel, and that's what kept me interested in it. Any thoughts on this? I don't know if your country could survive waiting days for it. Let me see what that is. Oh, you're talking about waiting days for the results. I assume that's what you're talking about. Let me see. Oh, we don't know the outcome either. This could be, yeah. It's ridiculous for it to take that long. And yes, it would. It would. If we can't name a president for days, it's going to get really hairy here. I think. I hope not. Trust me. I'm not purporting that. I'm not encouraging that. I'm telling you what I think. Aaron says, I've been watching since I was like 12 or 13 or something. Now I'm 24. Well, good to have you, my friend. Well, you've been with us since the very early days. Like I said, we started in May of 2011. This channel. The Curtis Candy channel, which I just started using, I haven't been back to in a while, but was using for wrestling stuff. That one I think I started in 2007. Had that one forever. Connor says if Kamala wins after a similar 3 a.m. uptick, there will definitely be riots. Oh, yeah, there will. Yeah, yes, there will, unfortunately. Indiana Senate. Oh, yeah, Banks, we knew he was going to win. Yeah, again, all we have right now that we're getting results from are Kentucky and Indiana, and we know what's going to happen in Kentucky and Indiana. Gibster says, I'm against electronic voting and to a degree mail-in voting. Here in British Columbia, they rigged it so NDP won even though 80% of BC is pure conservative. They found 40,000 votes after the counts. Yikes. Yikes. Yeah, I've always been a fan of mail-in voting because every American should get to vote if if circumstances prevent you from voting otherwise. I'm not ever in favor of a system where they send you, I'm not saying this happens, but they send you ballots and give you the option to send it back in. It should have to be requested. But you can't take them away just because of that. Some people genuinely cannot be there. Jill says, John King's numbers don't lie, or do they? Well, the good thing about John King, Jill, is at least always historically, and I watch him a lot. I watch him every year. The good thing about John King is he tells you what he thinks as a numbers guy. And I can't, again, he's never demonstrated a lean to me either way. And he'll be the first to tell you when he's not sure. He'll tell you all the time, this is where I think this is going to go, but it could easily go this way or that way. That's the only reason I tune into CNN is for John King. He doesn't make predictions. Boxing Dream says, who is John King predicting to win? He's the numbers guy. He tells you what to look for as votes come in. This guy, it's nuts. His memory is like not even human. How he knows every county right off the top of his head, knows every county, their makeup, what to expect from them, the different sections. It's Red Wolf. Thanks for the super chat. Says eating a medium rare ribeye while watching an election. Now that's a quality let's say a quality combination, but eating a medium rare ribeye is always a good idea, no matter what you're doing. Henry says, Curtis, if Trump loses, do you think Kamala will be the favorite for the Democratic nominee in 2028? No, I do not. I definitely do not. And again, I could be wrong, but I think you've got quality Democrats out there. And if she loses this, I think she's never been popular. You got to remember, when she was running in the primaries in 2020, she was at 3% in her own party. I don't think she's popular at all. And if she can't pull this off, if she's unable, whether it's fair or not, if she's unable to stop Trump, I think that'll be too much of a red check against her from her own party. So no, if Kamala doesn't win this, I think my personal opinion is her national political career is done. She might be able to do well in her home state of California doing something, but I don't think nationally she'll be an option again. Yeah, Trump's up 63 to 36 in Indiana. Kentucky, same, 66-33. Just what you'd expect. Look, says, I saw a video where some MAGA set fire to a voting box. I saw that, which is wild to me that you just dump your votes in a mailbox and expect it not to get tampered with. Yeah. But correct me if I'm wrong, Liz. I don't think they were MAGAs, though. Weren't they just insurrectionists? And I don't mean Republicans. I shouldn't say insurrectionists. That's the wrong word. I think they're just malcontents, political malcontents. I think they hate everybody. If I remember what I read, I don't think they were necessarily MAGA. They just hate all politicians. Let's see. Fayette County. Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah, I was going to say, well, John knows that too. When it's 373 to 199, that's too early to glean anything from it. That's and see that's why I say he's a fair guy, because he looked at that county, saw there was only 600 votes in, and he didn't even bother to compare it back to 2020 because he said it means nothing, and it does. With 600 votes, it doesn't mean anything. And Trump just jumped a little more in Kentucky, up to 67%. Kentucky's going just where we knew it would. Real American Nightmare says Trump signs in Louisville. Yeah, I mean, in the metropolitan areas, he usually gets beat up, but he's still got some base of support. Let's see how the rural Trump base is doing there. And he's doing exactly the same as he did against Biden. See, the thing with, and John King knows this, the thing with numbers in any state that is safe one way or the other, they don't mean much because you don't have the same enthusiasm. It's not like people in Kentucky, you're going to have a lot of Republicans that if it's inconvenient, they're not going to go vote because it's like, we got it in the bag. You're going to have a lot of Democrats that if it's not convenient, they're going to say, yep, I'm not going to go vote. My vote doesn't matter. So you really, any of the states, same thing if you're in California, same thing if you're in New York, doing it the other way if you're in Hawaii, the numbers are going to be, they're going one way or the other regardless of what your vote says. Rosa says, I honestly am not voting this year. My options are Trump, whose VP thinks I belong in mental hospital. For those who don't know, Rosa is trans. Or Kamala, whose economic policy is dead as MJ's taste in sugars. Random said, I think Trump wins this year. Yeah, I was predicting a slight victory for him. Again, it was bolstered a little bit by those numbers we saw coming in today in Nevada and Arizona. Now, mind you, again, those are not actual votes. They're just numbers by party. But the Republicans were dominating in those two states. Yeah, but yeah, I'd be very careful about that. Poor John. They keep going to John King right now, and he's got to be like, I know you guys are trying to fill airtime, but I got nothing to work with. It's Kentucky and Indiana. I got nothing to work with. What time is it, guys? 26 minutes we got. Oh yeah, it says on the feed there, 26 minutes till 7 o'clock. Things are going to start to pop, you guys, because at 7 o'clock, a lot of states close, and then you'll start getting some important numbers. Alexa says, vote John King for president. Yeah, I like the guy. Again, being a numbers nerd, he's like a king to numbers nerds. That's funny, too, because he's John King. That's quality humor right here, folks. Max says, New York isn't solid. I'd say New York City is the only part of New York State that's even likely damn. Oh, no. I lived most of my life in New York, Max. It's solid. It's it's not dominant by county for sure. If you look at the county by county map in New York, it's way heavily red. But the thing of it is, Max, you got 8 million plus people in New York City, and they're going to go heavy Democrat, and that's too much to overcome. Buffalo too. Buffalo is heavy Democrat. You just, I think this year could be closer, but they're not close to flipping. I think New Jersey is going to take a bigger hit this year than New York as far as Republicans doing well, but we'll see. All right, we got a couple of super chats here. Let's see what we got. Jet Flyer says, Curtis, do you not agree with having the Electoral College and why? Yes, I agree with it, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Red Wolf says, still mad Caboose isn't on the ballot. Sure, he would have won here in Indiana and maybe even every other state. I don't know how you wouldn't vote for Caboose, to be honest with you. I support the Electoral College, not surprisingly, because I'm somebody who lived rural all my life, but I support it because we're the United States of America. This country was not named simply America because that was supposed to be the idea. We are these 50 states coming together, and what the Electoral College does is it allows each state, as an individual state, to have its percentage share, say, in the election. And when you go to a straight popular vote, of course, it's going to be LA, New York, Chicago. Those cities will always be the bellwethers. That's the only place that presidential candidates will even bother to campaign, and that's what the founding fathers didn't want. They didn't want the mob vote. So yes, I like the idea of the United States of America. Each state has their individual say. Nectar says, laugh my ass off. Imagine New York flipping red because of billion of illegal immigrants. Yeah, really. I saw some numbers earlier, surprised me. Now, trust me, I don't think New Jersey is flipping red. But I did see, I can't remember which one it was. I did see one of the districts that Biden won by 5 in 2020. I think the Republicans, and again, you don't have votes, you just have by party affiliation. But I think the Republicans were up by, I want to say it was like 14, 15%. That shocked me. But there's been a lot of mumblings that New Jersey is going to be closer this year than it has been in the past. We'll see. All right, let me check these super chats. It's Corporal Hawk. Thanks for the super chat, my friend. Says, I think at the end of the day, most people will vote based off of their grocery bills, gas prices, even the exit polls are hinting towards that, and general cost of living. Makes an easy choice for me. Fun fact, Red versus Blue did a song called That's How Voting Works. Did they? I didn't know that. That's kind of cool, yes. And so far what I'm seeing in these exit polls, they would back up exactly what you're thinking. And Kaz, thanks for the super chat. Says, sounds like Canada, where the big cities and provinces dominate the vote, right? And that's what it would be. Obviously, that's what it would be if we had a popular vote. So I'm very much in support of the Electoral College, whether it goes my way or not. Rosa says, in Venezuela, the elections don't matter since the votes aren't even counted. Sweet motherland. I wonder why my mom immigrated to the U.S., right, Rosa? Nectar says, but isn't election the same with electoral vote? The vote seems to matter only in a few swing states. But what you have to remember, Nectar, is those swing states are constantly changing. It was just a few years ago, Ohio was a swing state. If you look at the history of the country, the swing states have changed. It all depends on where people move, where they go. But the core tenet that I support is still the same. The makeup, whatever that makeup of that state is, they get their voice heard as a state in the United States. That's why I'm for it. Lucas says, let's start asking the real question. Why isn't Curtis up there running? We've had worse candidates. Let's get a delicious president candy. Yeah, at least I admit to my brain damage. I mean, from what we've seen of our politicians who make it to the national stage, most of them seem to have had some sort. At least I own mine. Let's see. Chrome says, honestly, one of the big reasons I'm hoping for a Trump win is because of my job. The chances I'll be able to keep advancing and making more is better under Trump. Well, that's perfectly understandable then. Yeah, absolutely. That makes it real for you, 100%, without a question. Look Fun says Democrats hold the 51-49 Senate, right? But you got to remember, they have a 50-50 right now. But you have to remember, Look Fun, West Virginia is flipping, and Montana is very, very likely flipping, and I think Ohio is going to flip too. Now, unless something really unexpected happens, like Cruz loses in Texas or Scott loses in Florida, I think it's going to be a Republican Senate. Now, both those things I mentioned are possible. I just don't think they're going to happen. Lance Corporal Hawk, thanks for the super chat. Says also, fun fact: RVB did the voting song because the 2012 election took place the same day as Halo 4 released. Really, that's kind of cool. That's cool. Rosa says Curtis needs to legally change his name before running for president. Ain't no one gonna vote on a guy named Rusty Williams. Well, actually, way, way, way more people, because everything in entertainment I do as Curtis Candy know me as that. If I'm not mistaken, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not running, but if I were running, I think because I have had this name established for so long, I think legally I can be known as Curtis Candy. I could run as Curtis Candy. I've cashed checks made out to Curtis Candy. What the hell's going on here? Oh, okay. CNN was dumping on me. Shadowblaze says, from what I saw earlier, Republican turnout was high in the morning in Nevada, then started taking a nosedive later as Democrats started rising. It depends on the mail vote in Clark County. Last I saw, Shadow, now, what is it? It's almost 7, so it's been 2 hours since I saw an update. It had nosedived a lot. Clark County was going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting to get them across the finish line. It was pretty significant for the Republicans. Now, again, anything's possible. It just, last I had seen, it was pretty significant. Okay, yeah. Well, again, we're talking Indiana, Kentucky. We got 18 minutes, guys, and we can start seeing some results from states that matter. Just P says, I want to see a sitcom about the 6 people living in Dixville where it went 50-50. I know. You know what? You might, too. If not a sitcom, at least a one-off special or something. They were saying as a bellwether that looks good for Trump, because I guess in that town in 2020 went 5-0 for Biden, and this year they had an extra person move in and went 3-3. Yeah, Georgia starts bringing in results soon. That'll be very interesting. Just some girl without a mustache says, when are the purple states dropping? As I was saying, Georgia comes in at 7. I should have checked that whole list, but Georgia's the one that I know. The big one that I know is 7. I thought, and I could be wrong, I thought Pennsylvania closed at 7, but okay, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, South Carolina, Vermont, Virginia. Virginia is still interesting. Will Trump flip it? Probably not. But it's going to be interesting to see if what a lot of the pundits have been saying is true, and it's going to be much closer than people think. So Virginia is actually interesting too. But Georgia's the big one, coming in at 7. Indiana governor, yeah, that's going the way you would expect. Indiana Senate, going the way you expect. Yeah, nothing, no surprises in Indiana or Kentucky. So Jill says 30,000 absentee ballots in Milwaukee being recounted because someone left the door open. Oh, Jesus Christ. How is it that every year there's stupidity that goes on? Look, says Dixville, I know, right? Rosa says, genuine question. Do you identify more with the name Curtis or with the name Russell? As someone who did change names legally, still kick my head up whenever I hear Leo. I don't know that I identify one way or the other. I've never had trouble, at least so far. It's probably coming for me being able to distinguish between the two. But yes, you're right. I turn around to either. If I'm walking down the street and somebody says Curtis or Rusty, I'm gonna turn. But as far as numbers of people, it's basically just my family and friends that know me under my real name. And having wrestled and doing stand up and now being on the internet this long, there's way, way, way more people know me as Curtis. Way more. Alexa says, if you live in New York, did you see Spider-Man? Yes. A couple of times. We hung out. ZZ Gaming says, how late are you going to be streaming for? 2020 was a disaster as far as finalizing. Yeah, it won't be super late, ZZ. Every day I get up at 5:15 to start doing videos. So I had warned everybody, early on, I can't stay throughout, but I'll stay. I like to stay late enough so we can get a feel for where things are going. When, again, we start getting stuff from Georgia, more so when we start getting stuff from Pennsylvania, that'll give us an idea of what to look for. And we got John King here with the numbers. And again, that guy knows his shit. Thanks for the super chat, Dr. Catspaw. Says, hey, Candy, both Kurt and the stripper turn around. Yeah. You're not wrong. And there's a good chance that I would be in the same vicinity as a stripper, so that's even more poignant. Georgia says, the most important issue is economy. Ooh, that works well for Trump. That's what he's just saying. That's big for Trump. Democracy, 28%, both sides get in on that. Abortion's 14, immigration's 11. So you got abortion that's left, immigration that's right, and I just did those backwards. Immigration that's right, and they're only 3 percentage points apart. Again, don't draw a lot of conclusions from exit polls, but that's good for Trump. That's a split. But when 40% are saying the economy is their most important issue, that's obviously that bodes. It's always going to bode well for whoever isn't in power now. Biden approval in Georgia was 41% approved, 58 disapprove, so that's right in line with national. All right. Excuse me. So far, at least CNN's exit polls, across the board, the exit polls, if you read those exit polls, you would rather be in Trump's camp than Kamala's. Again, exit polls, they mean something. They don't mean a lot. Oh my God, Beyonce in a young Kamala shirt is weird. Fun says. Henry says, can we all agree that if Kamala wins, she'll be the most attractive president in U.S. history? She'll be the first president I'd be willing to jerk off to. Whoa! Well, that's high praise. High praise. Obama was bad looking. We couldn't. All right. Gabriel says the police say that the man behind the ballot box fires in Oregon and Washington has metalworking experience and might plan more attacks. Oh, shit. Was I right? That I thought what I had read was he was just an anarchist was the word I was looking for. He was an anarchist, not necessarily right or left, just somebody that hates government, just wants the world to burn type. Hey, fool. Luxurious Fool. That's a screen name. I wasn't just being rude. Jay Sweeney says most attractive president was Taft. Well, I think that's kind of a given. Although, come on, Nixon was pretty hot too. Let's be fair. Yeah, Lick says, have you heard JFK? You met RFK, right? Lick's RFK's voice. Yeah, it's tough to. I mean, I understand he had issues, but it is tough to listen to. Chrome said, I was just about to say Nixon. Yeah, that was an attractive man. He was just, God damn, he was, he didn't even seem human. He was so seemingly emotionless. Suchin says, I'm back. I'll have to give my dad, who lives in another home, menudo, which is Mexican tripe soup that is eaten with salt, cilantro, onion, a squeeze of lime, and tortillas since his car isn't working. Oh, very cool. Glad Dad's getting to eat. Nectar says, Nixon Chan Kawaii. he, he was something else, Nixon. CJP says economy is always a top issue, true, but this year it will be the biggest nationwide. It won in Georgia in their exit polls. It was the biggest issue by a significant number. And again, that any place that's saying economy in big numbers, that obviously bodes well for Trump. Any place where they're saying abortion, obviously that bodes extremely well for Harris. You're trying to spin, dude. See, that's why I don't listen to anybody but John King. This guy's just trying to spin. Well, look further down, and there's 28% said democracy. Both sides say democracy. That's not going to lean one way or the other. The left is convinced that democracy is in trouble if Trump gets it. The right is convinced that democracy is in trouble if Harris gets it. That one doesn't lean either way. They're just, John King is the only one on here who doesn't try and spin. If you look at that, look further. It's like, no, dude, you're making shit up now. I'm just listening to what they're saying. 8.5 minutes, guys. 7 o'clock, things will start popping off a little more. All right, hold on. We got a super chat coming in. And Gimster, thanks for the super chat. He says, here's hoping that we get Trump and Pierre for U.S. and Canada, for the leaders of North America. We have legit interference up here under the liberal leadership, and both economies are failing. Yeah, I don't think your current guy has much of a chance in hell from what I'm seeing of the numbers up there, Gimster. I know that's good for me, would be good for me as an outsider looking in. I know it's what you're rooting for, but Trudeau is, the last I saw, his numbers are unbelievably bad. Oh, they're just giving some updates on when polling places are closing. Whereas he's in Georgia. The one thing I will say, they had, when I first turned this on, they had 3 reporters at different locales, and it was several places in Michigan, Grand Rapids, and a couple other big cities. There was hardly anybody at any of them. Now, granted, it is later in the day, but I was surprised to see how few people were there. Kieran says Trump versus Harris twerk off. You almost, and it has nothing to do with gender, but you almost have to give that to Harris because, again, as I had mentioned earlier, Trump is not an athletic sort at all. I think twerking might just have him break a hip or something. Kentucky, yeah, staying where we expected, 67% for Trump. Excuse me. Indiana's at 60 or 59. Yeah. Again, nothing. I'm actually surprised they don't have enough confidence to call Kentucky and Indiana yet. We know which way they're going. And let's see what we got here. Kaz, thank you for the super chat. Kaz says, current seat projections for the next Canadian election. Trudeau 57, Pierre 213. Wow. 172 needed for a minority. Yeah, I know, Kaz, just a little bit of details I get from Canada. The last numbers I saw for Trudeau were just horrific. I mean, terrible. Okay, they're interviewing a guy. I want to see what he has to say. See, he's just picking random people here. He's talking to him, Pennsylvania, and this could be This could be, well, obviously, if Kamala wins, or I'm sorry, if Kamala loses, a lot of it's going to be because of the economy. That's what so many people they're interviewing are saying. I already voted Trump, Quan. I already voted for Trump days ago. Let's see. And we got another super chat coming in. Ooh. And that's from the Salt Nation. Thanks for super chat, pal. I appreciate it. Hello, my friends. Pennsylvania voter here. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be a close race. I agree. I love how Pennsylvania determined most of the elections. A big question for this election, what happened to decent respect on either side? Much love, that. Unfortunately, those days are just so gone. And again, I've said this before. I'll say it again. Don't get me wrong. I love technology. Technology is what allows me to do what I love every day. But you can't deny the fact that it is the internet, and more specifically social media, that has brought us to this point of this just violent vitriol towards one another. But thank you, Salt Nation. I appreciate that. Quan thinks it's going to be Trump. Grandpa Curtis 2028, Mike says. Yeah, tech is great. I love tech. But I've been a tech geek since I was a kid. I've always been fascinated by computers. I used to, one of my favorite movies years ago, I wasn't a kid, but it was years ago, was that Matthew Broderick movie, War Games. And only because it's centered around computers. I nerded right out for that. The only winning move is not to play the game. I nerded right out for that movie. Another one was Electric Dreams. Came out back in the 80s. Pretty terrible movie, but it's centered around a sentient computer, a sentient being within this guy's computer, and I nerded right out. I've always been a geek for tech. Tech is what allows you to do what you love, right? 100%. Kokoopsy, yeah, 100%. Dr. Go says, make technology great again, Curtis's slogan. Yeah, now we're start getting some interesting things going on here in 3 minutes and 19 seconds. Nectar says, in hindsight, how much did 2022 Roe v. Wade change things? How did that impact? Oh, it's going to impact this election. I think without the overturn of Roe v. Wade, I think Trump would have won this fairly comfortably. Absolutely. It's having a huge impact. It's not to say that Trump can't win, but I believe that's a huge factor. I think the economy's a bigger factor, so I think that's working in his favor. But it's absolutely, without a doubt, having an impact on this election. Metal is Way says, I voted Kamala because I work in the self-driving car field. I want my career field to grow, not shrink. And that there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with voting for a candidate based on your personal needs. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I base my vote not on myself. I'm 63. Whoever gets in, most of what they're going to want to do, it's not going to have much of an effect on my life, what's left of it. I vote for what I think is best for my kids and grandkids, without a question. And we got a super chat from Turbo Chief. Says, I love computers and now work in IT. God help me. Yeah, I always been a nerd for technology. So glad I got to live long enough to see the technological advances that we made and to be able to do things like what we're doing right now. Alexa says, election sounds like erection. Elections, it sounds like erection to a lot of people, and not just because they rhyme. Yeah, like I say, he's trying to find some clues, but in any state where it's a given who's going to win, you just can't glean much from the numbers because too many people, there's not the enthusiasm there is in states where people feel like their vote is going to make a difference. It just isn't. Filthy Tokyo says we got to find a way to keep Curtis on ice until the future so he can see all the new tech. I know, right? I know. That's what's gonna. That's the only part of death that I really get lamenting is, man, I'm going to miss a lot of cool stuff they're going to create. They're going to invent. Yeah, Georgia was dead close in 2020. Really interested. Well, not just me. Really interested to see what. Oh, we're at 7 o'clock. Let's get ready, you guys. Now things could start popping off of it. Seven of the 7 o'clock states coming in. It's Georgia and Virginia that are going to be really, really interesting. 10 seconds till the polls close. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know how quickly we'll get numbers from those states, but this is going to be, yeah, it's going to get good now, guys. All right, so projects Kentucky goes to Trump. We knew that. No surprise. Vermont goes to Harris. Again, we all knew that. Let's see what else we got. Okay, Georgia, Indiana, South Carolina, Virginia, too early to tell. Yeah, like I say, so just two states that we all knew. Let me grab this super chat. It's 5 o'clock now. Time for alcohol, baby. Yeah, I know, CJP. Thanks for the super chat. Oh, nothing. He's just giving. He's just doing Indiana. Indiana doesn't mean anything. We know that's going to Trump. All right, come on. Let's start showing us some Georgia and Virginia. Let's start finding something out here. Yeah, they only got Osceola County coming in Florida, so doesn't tell you much of anything. Harris by a couple points. Nothing in Georgia yet. Come on, Georgia and Virginia are what I really want to see. Did some of them give Kentucky to him, Omar? CNN hasn't officially yet, but they will. Kentucky was never a doubt. Oh, I'm getting text watching live all night long. Oh, actually, you're watching, Elizabeth. I don't have to. I was gonna text her back. No, I'm gonna. I get up. I get up 5:15 every morning. I just can't do all night. I'm gonna try and stay up long enough to get a good feel for where we are, though. So, I don't know how long that'll be. You guys might. I might find myself waking back up in front of this with all you guys laughing at me and saying, "Oh, look, he drools like you would imagine an old man does." The BBC has given Kentucky to Trump. Okay, Chrome. Yeah, it's just a matter of when they feel comfortable calling it Kentucky's. Again, no, the states that are those three states, Vermont, Kentucky, Indiana, there was never a doubt. Never a doubt. They just still don't have anything coming in yet from Georgia, though, or Virginia. That's what we want to see. Let's make this a 24-hour stream, Stajil says. Slumber party. Yeah, Tokyo. Yeah, I'm surprised that CNN hasn't called Kentucky for Trump yet. All right, Florida Senate. Okay, here we go. That's a big one. Okay, Scott is up by over 8 points. I don't think Scott was going to lose, but some people had been hopeful there. I don't know if he'll hold on to win by 8, but I think he does. He does win. So if they got those. They got to be getting more numbers in from Florida if they got all those numbers in for the Senate race. Come on, show us Florida again. Let's see what's going on. Okay, we know what happened in 2020, guys. I know you're on CNN here. I know you got to kill time, but we know what happened in 2020. We're all very familiar. Okay, now he just asked, can we go to Florida? Yeah, you're well over 1 million. Over 1 million votes. Trump is up by 15. Wow. Obviously, it depends on what has come in, but 15 is a lot. Yeah, let's see. Now he's up by 16. Now this is getting interesting, guys. Florida is going to go red, but the numbers are going to be important because Florida borders Georgia. You know, you're starting to get into the same regions, and that does have some bearing. But right now, he's up 16.6%. Now, in that Jacksonville's county, Harris is only up by one. That doesn't seem like a lot to me. Wow. Let's see what was I right? Yeah. Biden won it by almost 4. So Trump's running a little better there than by. And those are the things you look for in these states right now. There's a significant number of the vote in, too. Yeah, now Trump is up 16.9 overall. The one thing I do know about Florida is the panhandle is insanely red, extremely red. There's nothing coming out in the panhandle yet. That and the southern tier, Miami, has been moving more and more red, largely due to the Cuban population. So it'll be interesting to see when Miami-Dade starts coming in and when the panhandle starts coming in. If Kamala can't do well outside of the panhandle, she's toast because the panhandle is going to be big, big Trump. Nothing on South Carolina yet, Zuchen. They should be coming up shortly with the states that closed at 7. And let's see. Jill, thanks for the super chat. Says, question, if Kamala requests a recount like we're in 2000, do you think that SC shuts it down quickly? It would depend on the final. I think it would depend on the final numbers. I will say this. I don't think Kamala is going to request a recount if there's a clear and decisive winner. You know, and in other words, put it this way. It's 2016. Yeah, if it was the 2016 numbers, I could see her asking for a recount in specific states because they were dead tight. If it's comfortable at all, I don't think they'll push it. And woof, Scott is up by 16.5 points. It's got to be as well as we know the Republican vote was doing in Florida. There's got to be a lot more blue votes coming in there. I don't think Trump's going to win that by 16 points. I would not be surprised if he won it by 8 to 10, though. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, now here's some. They got some exit polls from Georgia. I'll relay this to you guys because these could be important. So far, exit polls in Georgia have 86 to 12 for the black vote. That's not a surprise. So she's right now she's doing just a little under what Biden did with African Americans. Younger voters went 60 to 39. But what was that in 2020? Wow. Wow, I'm surprised she's doing better than Biden did with young voters. That's a good sign for Harris. How much better, dude? You're not saying. White voters, no degree in Georgia. Trump's 81 to 18. Yikes. That's a big demographic there. That's even better. That could hurt. Wow, that's big. Ooh, this is big, guys. The independent vote in Georgia in exit polls went 54 to 43 Trump. Oof. Ooh. Okay, here's what we just learned, guys. I'll relay this to you. Right now, this is just exit polling. Just exit polling in Georgia. Trump is up by 11 points with independents. In 2020, Biden won independents by 9. If that number is accurate, and you never know for sure if it is, if that number is accurate on the exit polling, Georgia's done. Georgia's Trump. But again, I've watched enough of these. That exit polls mean something. They don't mean everything. Don't. If you're a Trump supporter, don't get too overhyped by that. If you're a Harris supporter, don't think that you're done because it's just exit polls. But if it's even close to that, if that exit poll is even close to the reality, I don't see any way Harris could possibly win Georgia. Catspaw says exit poll said Hillary was going to crush Trump if I recall. I think so, Catspaw. I'm trying to, that's a long way back from my memory, but I think so. But yes, that's big, guys. If that, and again, I can't state this enough. I try and be fair. If I want to do this and talk to y'all and everything as fair as I can with whatever my knowledge is, exit polls are not a begin all and end all. They are a good indicator. Typically, that 11-point lead could be legit. It could be way off. Indiana, they gave to Trump. We knew that. But that's big because Biden did win independents by 9 points in Georgia in 2020. For Trump to be up by 11 is kind of nuts. Excuse me. Jill says, well, when Republicans look like they're in the lead, then Democrats, start catching up. But with exit polls, Jill, those are typically by now, they should have those in the bag. That's just people they caught as they were coming out of the polls. And whether or not who makes the move late depends on where the votes are now. Okay, now Florida's gotten more realistic. Trump is up by 5.3. But we have to see where those votes are coming from. If they still haven't started doing the panhandle. Oh, Virginia, guys. Trump up by 18, but that's with 8,500 votes in. But Trump being up in Virginia at all, at any point, seeing Virginia as red is going to be unnerving to Democrats. However, as I said, 8,500 votes is nothing. They could all come from one district that's heavy Trump for all we know. But the most shocking thing we've seen so far is that exit poll of independents from Georgia. Again, if they're even close with that, Kamala Harris is in a lot of trouble in Georgia. Let's see, Georgia, please stay like that. CJP says, look like Georgia lead went Harris. Well, what you got to watch for now, guys, as you see states come in, and they're at a commercial now, so I can't see. You got to look where the votes are coming from. That's everything. Because we know in each of these states, certain counties are going to vote heavily one way or the other. Well, most of the counties. You still have some swing counties. So you just got to watch where they're coming in. Florida, as I said, the panhandle is going to be all red. Typically the major metropolitan areas through Central Florida, Orlando, and the like typically go blue. One of the wild cards to watch, because the electorate has been changing so much, is Miami. Miami's been moving red. Miami-Dade area is a lot of the reason that Florida went from purple to red. David says Colorado has a lot of red, but Denver is really blue. Yeah, well, that's typical. That's typical of Colorado. Denver is very, very heavily Democrat. Yeah, most big cities are. Let's see if they're going to be lagging this much. I'm going to have to pull up a page that gives us the live votes as well. because this is crazy. They're just not keeping us updated. All right, now in Virginia, Trump still up. Well, he's at 9,200 votes in, still not enough to make a call. He's up 18 points. Let's see what we have here. And Turbo Chief says, Floridian here. It used to be more purple, but lots of reds keep moving out moving in from out of state, jacking up our prices. Yeah, a lot. You're right, too. I didn't even think to mention that. We talked about the Cubans, but yes, there's a lot. Same here in North Carolina. A lot of red northerners moving to North Carolina and more so moving to Florida. You know, you're 100% right. That's right. I didn't even think to bring that up. But you guys can keep me too, because we're all watching different maps. If you're seeing something that they haven't updated here, I'm watching CNN. If they haven't updated here, let me know in the chat. Let's see. It says, bro says, Cunny little friends like he was a character in a Wattpad fanfic. Oh, okay. I'm lost. Chrome says, yeah, some states will swing back and forth as the counties are counted. Yeah, all the swing states will likely do that. Yep. Florida will do that, even though just from what we've seen of the big numbers that Republicans are voting in Florida, it's likely going to Trump. You'll see, we already saw big swings. Trump was up 18 at one point. Now he's up 6. And he'll probably go back up and he'll probably come back down. It'll be like that for a while. Florida's quick about getting their shit together, though, getting their votes in. I'm just, every so often you see me looking off and not talking, guys. I'm just listening to what they're telling me here. Nothing new here. Okay, here's a key race alert. All right, Georgia. Trump is up 2.5% with 3% in. Again, all depends on where those votes come from. But at least that's some numbers that start to mean a little something. Trump up 7.3 in Florida and with 50% in. So now numbers are starting to mean more there. Yeah. Florida is going to be comfortably Trump, it looks like. Virginia is still, there's 16,000 votes in. Trump is up 18 points. Trust me, Donald Trump is not going to win Virginia by 18 points. However, again, it's never comfortable for either side to see the other side leading a state that they fully planned on winning, fully expected to win. But yeah, look fine. As I said, Trump's leading Virginia, but that has to be mostly all rural votes coming in, because he's not going to, he could upset and win Virginia, but he's not going to win it by 18 points. Jill says, honestly, the outcome tonight will determine women's rights for at least the next 4 years of the future. Not necessarily, Jill. When you think about it, you're going to very likely have a Republican Senate. So Harris was running as a friend to women on the abortion issue, but there's not much she can do. And my advice would be, and I am pro-choice, my advice to people would be to, since it's at the state level now, start hammering your state politicians and try and get your state laws to favor the way you would like. Yeah, she's not telling us anything we don't know here. Dr. Cat's Paw, thank you for the super chat. Says, okay, I love the banter, but I'm getting stressed out. I'm going to go watch the Ghost Fucker Hell of a Boss episode. I'll check back in from time to time. Thanks, Cat's Paw. No, I appreciate it, and I completely understand. See, I love this stuff. I'm such a nerd for politics, and even more so for numbers. But thank you, Cat's Paw. I appreciate that. But yes, wanting to step away, I completely understand anybody that would want to. Georgia, Trump's still up 2.5, still that 3% in though. Yeah, I've got to get a map up here, guys. Who's got a good political map? The BBC? Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. It's taking a while to load. I would imagine a lot of people are on it right now. Okay. No. All right. I should be putting live map. There we go. Live updates. All right. Indiana projected Trump. No. Let me see, guys. Let me put 2024 live map. That should be enough to tell them what I want. All right. Google's got one. So in Georgia right now, 3.4% in. Trump up by 2.5. South Carolina, guys. Trump up a little over 20. Hardly anything in. Virginia, Trump's still up big, but not much of anything in. Hold on, we're getting some more important exit polls. North Carolina, how things are going in the U.S. Dissatisfied and angry are 70% of North Carolina. That hurts the incumbents. Well, not the incumbent, but the incumbent party. Dissatisfied and angry. Oh, but how? Yeah, I don't think so. That's a stretch. He's trying to make the case that dissatisfied and angry with the current state of America. A lot of those people are, that's why all these guys lean, except for John King. A lot of those people are talking about Trump being involved in politics. No, they're talking about their current state of affairs. Why lie to people? North Carolina, most important issue, economy 36, democracy 30, and immigration and abortion were tied. So that one's a wash between the two. Wow. Oh, Chrome's got the BBC map for me. Thank you, Chrome. Hold on a second. Let me grab that link from you. All right. Let me get that link and transfer it over here. Let me see. Hold on, guys. I'm just trying to get all my maps up here. All right. It's a good map. They're a little behind the other places, though. Oh, no, they're okay. What? Okay, so they got 51 to 48.5, 61 to 38. North Carolina, nothing yet. Virginia, yes, yeah. Okay, now I can see Virginia, yes. Trump's got that big lead, and it is all from rural Virginia, guys. Yeah, other than Chesterfield County, there's nothing from what we expect will be the blue area. So if you're a Harris fan, don't get too nervous about Virginia yet. And thank you for the super chat. Forge in Hell Swing says, I'm dissatisfied and angry with the Biden administration. They're seeing a lot of that in the exit polls. Surprising, and if you're a Democrat, a concerning amount, honestly. I cannot share, brother. I can't share the screen of somebody else's broadcast. Oh, I missed the super chat? Thank you, Gimster. I appreciate that. Oh, Anbu. Okay, hold on. Hold on, Anbu. Let me get you in this browser. It's easier for me. Apologies. Thank you guys for letting me know when I miss the super chat. I get looking at these numbers and lose track of where I am. Anbu says, does Trump have a plan to reduce inflation policy? Yeah, I mean, it's all on is whether or not you believe it will be effective is up to you. But I mean, I'm not going to go into. You can go right to his website and see what it is. Moments away. Polls close in North Carolina, Ohio, West Virginia. North Carolina is very interesting. Ohio should go red without a problem. So should West Virginia. And Jill says right now Florida is at 62% Trump leading. Yeah, I think Florida is going to be pretty significant. Just again from what we saw of the combination of the early vote and the insane numbers Republicans were doing as far as who voted today. I think Florida's going to be very comfortably Trump. New Hampshire leading toward Kamala now. Is it, Rocky? I'll have to take a look at the map. I'll have to see what counties are coming in. New Hampshire. What do we got? Okay. Keene. Yeah, Keene's pretty big. Claremont. Yeah, it's right now it's only 2.5%. It's really hard to really glean anything from that yet. It's similar to what's going on in Virginia with Trump. It's just a little too early right now but thank you. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. No, it says tuning in from the UK here. We've got a lot of UK folks with us tonight, pal. PC Gamer says lots of love from Texas. I've been a viewer for many years since the Dragon Ball Z abridged days. That's many years. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. But yeah, New Hampshire's still too early. Virginia's way too early. You start getting up into like that 33% line and stuff. It starts to get a little more interesting, but now Florida's at 59% and Trump up by just under 8 points. He's got I can look at the Florida map. All right, hold on. My boy John King is doing a breakdown of Georgia, and I really like this guy's breakdowns. This is the only reason I have CNN on. Let's see what we got here. It's 8-point lead for Trump at the moment with 5% in. Oh, the Atlanta suburbs are coming in. I'm surprised it's not a little closer because of that. Oh, yeah. Yes, he does win big in rurals. Arthur, thanks for the super chat. Says, I'm worried how close Florida... Oh, no. I personally, if you say worried and you're a Trump supporter, I don't think you have a worry there. I will be shocked. Kamal says, I suggest looking at Poly Markets. The betting site seems possibly to be accurate. I follow all the numbers, Kamal's. And they last I saw they ended at, 60-40 for Trump. They definitely, they're worth looking at. People say, oh, it's just bettors. Well, people don't like losing their money. So it's a positive for the Trump campaign, the Poly Market. Okay, now New Hampshire's got 3% in. Harris up by 19. So Trump better hope that is mostly, there's not a lot of big cities in the state, but that's where they're coming from. Right. I'm just listening to John King. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's real early. Trump, what he's going through is Prince William County in Virginia, and Trump has a lead there. If Trump ended up ahead there, Virginia's going to go to Trump. He won't. But for him to even have a lead, even with only 5%, it is kind of surprising. Because that should be solidly blue, that county. Harris is winning Chesterfield County. That I remember from past. She's doing even a little better than Biden was, so that's good for her. Yep, okay. Like I say, this John King, he's good. And he doesn't lean. He just tells you the numbers. I don't think Illinois is going to go red this year, but to be honest with you, you bring that up, Filthy Tokyo, I have not been following Illinois much. Nothing come in from there yet. I do not think so, but I really shouldn't even say, because now that you mention it, and it was never intentional, I I really haven't followed Illinois much. Why you thinking so? Yeah, right now Virginia is so tight it looks well for Trump, but it's still too early. We can't glean anything from that. Okay, hold on. We got some more polls closing. It's 7:30 here. Just in a minute. North Carolina's closing. That's going to be big. The biggest, if you're a Trump fan, the biggest thing you should be, or the biggest thing you got going for you is those exit polls have looked really good. West Virginia has been called for Trump. Knew that. Ohio, North Carolina, too early to call, no numbers yet. But West Virginia again, that was a given all along. Trump was going to win that. I'm curious, what's Florida looking like right now, guys? Let me take a peek. I got Afro Mike right in my way. Trump up by just under 8 points still with 60% in. I think an 8 point win. I had predicted Trump winning between 8 and 10. So if it's 8 point, at least I was accurate. Georgia's or Virginia, Trump still with a slight lead with 2% in. Georgia, we've got Trump way up, but that's okay. Yeah, the majority of Atlanta, just some of the suburbs of Atlanta are in, but not anything actually in Atlanta. So that's why Trump's got the big lead there. Burke, Georgia. That's early. Yeah, Trump's doing really well in Georgia right now, but again, don't get excited because with the counties that are reporting, it's counties that he should do really well in. New Hampshire, Kamala's up by almost 18, but only 4% in. Again, when you're in single digits of the percentage of votes in, it's just you can't glean anything. Arthur says not to be rude, but the Amish vote doesn't matter. Oh, I disagree, Arthur. They really did a good job of rallying the Amish vote, and what we've seen in these swing states, every vote can matter. I would disagree. This is the first time they've ever really rallied the Amish. All right, hold on. Arthur's got a super chat. Thank you for that super chat. It says my Virginia map says 3% in, 57.5 to 41 for Commonwealth. Yeah, as I say, anytime you're in single digits as far as percentage of votes in, it just entirely depends on where those votes came from. You really need more fill-in to start getting a good idea. Right. Wow, Cobb County, Trump's got a huge. Oh, there's no votes in, doesn't matter. I was like, say Cobb County, Trump's way up, but there was like 700 votes in. Not even. It's not going to stay that way. And right there, Atlanta. A good little bit of it in. There's more of Atlanta in than. Wow, and 30%. Yeah, let's see what Harris had in this Fayette County, or Biden had. Wow, that would be a big plus for her. Wow, that'll be interesting to see. Oh, going nowhere. It's absolutely going to be a very, very long night, without a doubt. West Virginia was called. Yeah, West Virginia was called here too. But West Virginia, that again, that's a given. That state. Let Amish cover the whole country. Tojo says. Zuchan, okay, gonna split for a shower a little bit. Gotcha. Chrome says, "What do you mean? Sure, those 700 votes will decide the election." Yeah, because I saw that initially, and I was like, "What?" And then you see it's 700 votes. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, 1,400 votes in Gwinnett County. Yeah. I almost feel bad for John King. They expect him to start trying to draw conclusions, and as he always says, there's no conclusions to be drawn when you've got 800 votes in a county. I need more. Luke says, I'm already bored. Can we play Subway Surfers footage over this? PC Gamer says, when can we expect final results? Impossible to say, pal. Could be, if things really flow one way or the other, could be late tonight. Very unlikely. Could quite possibly be tomorrow. Very possible. Could also be several days from now. Possible, and would probably be the worst case scenario as far as unrest in the country. All right, what do we got here in North Carolina? We got Harris up big. Oh, and this is why. Raleigh-Durham is in already. Charlotte area. See, my county's not in, but the Charlotte area is. Yeah, it's right now North Carolina, you can't draw anything because you just highlighted it on the map. All the heavily Democrat areas have come in, and hardly any of the rural areas. So that one we just got to wait on. Let me see. We got a super chat coming in here. Dragon, thanks for the super chat. Says, I don't like making predictions for any states until at least 50% of the states' votes are in. Right. Or Dragon, sometimes you can make a decent prediction a little earlier if, say it's 30%, but a specific county that had to go one way or the other went entirely the wrong way. But outside of that, I agree with you. Okay, West Virginia Senate. Okay, Jim Justice, it's a pickup. Everybody in the world knew that West Virginia was going to be a pickup in the Senate. Nothing new there. Because Manchin was a very centrist Democrat in a heavily red state. It's the only reason he won as a Democrat, we knew. But the things we have to watch for I believe for the Democrats to have a prayer in the Senate, you got to watch Texas and Florida. I don't think they get either, but that's their path because obviously they've already called West Virginia. I really think Republicans get Montana, and I have a strong suspicion they're going to get Ohio. Oh, here we go, Ohio, and Bernie Moreno is up by 10.6%. With only 3% of the vote, but I think he wins. Rick Scott in Florida is up 60% of the vote in, and he's up by 10. Yeah, I as I said, I don't see the Democrats picking that up, and they really needed to. But with 40% to go, I don't think she's going to be able to do it. Florida is the first state that we're really getting to numbers that mean something here. Let's see what we got from Anthony Stanley. Thanks for the super chat, pal. I'm from the UK, but hope whichever way the result goes, that everyone stays safe, especially you and your family, if it all does kick off. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. That's very kind of you to say. I appreciate that a lot. I hope everybody stays safe here. I hope people can get a hold of themselves a little bit. North Carolina. Yeah, we got Kamala way up, but again, they just showed the map. And it's all the metro areas. Yeah, it could go either way. It's not saying that Harris is going to win or lose. It's just, it is what it is. It's all coming from the metro areas. Same thing here, Georgia. Trump is way ahead, but if you look at the map, it's all rural. So both of them. You can't take anything from Georgia or North Carolina yet. If you're looking at maps and your candidate's winning or losing, don't get excited. Now let's see, Virginia now, 11%. Harris has got that big lead. Let me look at what has come in Virginia. Let's see. You got Fairfax County coming in. That's why. Fairfax and Prince William have come in big numbers in Virginia, and they are heavily, heavily Democrat. Yeah, so that's why I still think Democrats probably win Virginia, but that's why Harris has the big lead. The most populous portions of Virginia have started coming in earlier than most of the rural areas. Yeah, as I said, Jill, she said North Carolina just showed up blue. If you zoom in on it, you'll see it's heavily metro areas, and metro areas are going to vote blue. Now, which metros did I say? I believe. Come on, NC. Yeah, you got a lot of votes in all the major metro areas here. Let's see. Let's go here to Wake. So it's only 6.5%, 2.2. But the rural areas have very few have any coming in. And like here you got Dare, North Carolina is at 1.4% in. Yeah, the red areas just really haven't had anything come in. North Carolina, you can't tell anything from yet. Virginia, you can't really tell anything from yet. Florida, the big story in Florida, Trump, as I said, I had predicted 8 to 10 points. I think he's going to win comfortably. The big news so far there is Rick Scott's got a commanding lead. I believe Rick Scott is overperforming Trump right now. And for Democrats, Florida was more likely or more possibly a Senate flip than a presidential state win. So that looks good for Republicans in the Senate. Now, the other, if you're a Harris fan, if you're a Democrat, the only other Senate race I think you look at as a possible pickup, you have some to defend, but as a possible pickup would be Texas. I don't think Cruz loses in Texas, but it wouldn't be the shocker of all shockers if he did. But yes, Scott has a commanding lead in Florida. Right now, Trump is up by 9% with 69% of the vote in. And I think Trump's going to be good in Florida. The vast majority of the panhandle hasn't even started voting yet. And Osceola has 77% in, and Harris is only up by 1.2. Yeah, it's Florida's not looking friendly for Democrats at all, guys. All right, what are we doing? Miami-Dade, 73% in, and Trump is winning it by 11. Oof, this is a beatdown in Florida. Yeah. And again, you've got they aren't hugely populated, but there's a lot of counties in the Panhandle that haven't even started giving results yet. Yeah. Florida looks to be a pretty significant beatdown. West Virginia red without any results in at all. Probably because they called it. There are some times. Oh, see, I've got results on mine. I've got 3.8%, but it's one of those states where they have enough faith in the numbers they've seen, whatever they may be, and they're right. West Virginia's gonna go red. You'll see that every so often. You can see that. You might see that in like California. California might pop up with 1.3% of the vote in, and they'll call it for Harris, and they'll be right. That happens. All right. Georgia, Trump's got 13% in. He's got a big lead, but again, Atlanta hasn't really started weighing in enough yet. That's what's going to cut into that lead. North Carolina, again, it's coming in slow there. Harris with that same lead, but again, it's all metro areas. Hold on, I think we got a super chat here. Jill said, and thank you for the super chat, says, being Canadian, it's like my neighbor has built a bomb and decides tonight whether they detonate. I get no say, but bombs don't respect property lines. Jesus Christ. yeah, bombs have no respect for property lines at all. You're right. And Harris, big lead in Virginia, but again, it was the that northeast corner of Virginia that's always heavily Democrat. Can't tell anything there yet. Florida, Trump's up by 9.6 now, and with 71% in and the panhandle not counted. Trump is going to win Florida handily. Very handily. Ohio, Trump's got a big lead. Ohio's going Trump. He's not going to go by 14 points, I don't think, like they have it there, but he should be comfortable. Now New Hampshire, 7% in. Harris with that huge lead. I'd have to look and see. That's a pretty big lead. Let me see where the vote's coming in. Oh, yeah, you got all these rural counties haven't even started yet. I still don't, personally, as far as predictions, I think Harris holds on to New Hampshire. It's going to be much closer than what it is now, but I think she holds on. Lex says, man, this sucks, dude. I was having fun until now. Wow. Oh, you mean the results, Lex? Salt Nation says, my state, Pennsylvania, is closing the polls soon, so we'll see. That's the big one. That's just huge, Pennsylvania. It's very likely that, in 14 minutes, New Jersey, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Tennessee, tons of states closing. I'm interested to see Jersey. I think Jersey's going to be closer than it historically has been. I don't think Trump wins it, but I think you're going to see Republicans overperforming in Jersey. We'll see if I'm right. Not that it matters, because again, there's Democrats are still going to win. Conversation source says it's not over yet. No, it isn't over yet. No, guys, until you start seeing something from Pennsylvania, it is clearly not over. No. In all honesty, if I was just watching these numbers, I'd rather be Trump than Harris right now, but it's not over by any stretch. Excuse me. Oh, this guy's he's talking about Harris campaign being really concerned about Pennsylvania. I'm just listening to what this guy has to say. Oh, we know that. He just told us that if Harris is to have a strong campaign in Pennsylvania, she has to do well in Philly. No shit. They get my attention away. It's like, oh, he's got some news. He just said what we've known for the last 12 years. Jesus Christ. No kidding, bro. Does she? Jill says, how has West Virginia already called it 3% vote since less than a percentage part? Because as I said, Jill, there are some states that they just have a preponderance of evidence. Things like the percentages of people that are registered with each party, so on and so forth, that they feel confident to make the call. And that's all it is. And like I said, you'll see a lot of times, you'll see the same thing happens in California. California is wildly populated. You'll see it with just a few percentage points in, and they're calling it. And people are like, whoa, how do you know? Because we know exactly what the numbers are for how people register, and other factors as well that they've taken into consideration. Remember, when any news agency calls it, it's not official. It's just they're saying they're satisfied enough that they can confidently say they won. Doesn't mean they did. They're just saying they're confident enough. And typically, any news agency worth anything at all would never make a call unless they're positive. So, but that's how it works, if that explains it at all. Right, like Chrome says, no one would predict a deep red California, right? So there are just some things that are a given. We just know certain things are going to happen. One of them is that West Virginia is going to vote heavily, heavily Republican. Trump with 63% in Georgia right now. That's good for him, Random. But until you start seeing, let me look up where it is right now. Until you start seeing that Atlanta area fill in, it doesn't mean a lot. See how they're doing in Atlanta area. Oh, it is starting to fill in, though. Oh, no, never mind. It's blue, but it's only 0.5% there. 73% there. and she's running up the numbers like you thought she would. 61. No. Just from a quick peek at the numbers, guys, Harris is very much alive in Georgia. Pennsylvania, most important issues: democracy 33, economy 30, abortion 15, immigration 13. That one's almost a wash. What else do we have here? 55% of people are in favor of fracking in Pennsylvania. Of course, Harris changed her position on that. I think she changed it too late. 43% approve of Biden, 56% disapprove. Everything, even in the exit polls, Pennsylvania points to a dead close race. Really close race. Yeah, Pennsylvania, just the exit polls alone tell you Pennsylvania is going to be a nail biter. Every exit polling prior to that, North Carolina's, Georgia's, everybody's, has favored Trump. Pennsylvania's, I wouldn't say that favors Harris. I'd say that one's a toss-up. So that's a major advancement for her. And we know nothing about Michigan, Wisconsin yet. So the big thing is, if the numbers from earlier in the day hold, as I had said at the top of the stream, it looks like Nevada and Arizona are probably going to be red. Yeah, we've got to start getting some numbers from Atlanta area in Georgia, and we got to start getting some rural numbers in North Carolina, because until we do, those numbers don't mean anything. What's Florida looking like now? It's got to be almost... Okay, Florida, what you looking at now? Florida's still at 73% in, 10% to Trump. Okay, so there hasn't anything new coming in there. 8 minutes till we get polls closing in 16 states. Things will start really grinning up then. Yeah, I saw that look fun about the bomb threats. It's just pathetic. Nothing on Michigan yet. Pony's Day. Nothing yet. Nothing coming in on Michigan yet. That's a state. I mean, just my personal opinion. I will be surprised if Harris doesn't win Michigan. It's not out of Trump's reach. I'm not saying that. It's not like a 90% to 10% thing, but I think it's a solid 60% to 40% chance that she wins. It's Pennsylvania. Even the exit polls. Again, first exit polls of the night that looked like it was going to be close. All the other exit polls we've seen in swing states heavily favored Trump. Well, again, for whatever exit polls are worth. And it's not a lot. All right, yeah, we're still 74% in Florida now, and he upped his lead a little bit more. Yeah, Florida is a significant win for Trump. Georgia, he's still up by 25, but and you would say, okay, Trump's up by 25% with 19% of the vote in. You would say, oh, that's over, but it isn't. You don't have enough coming in around the Atlanta metro area. Until you start getting bigger numbers in from Atlanta, it means nothing. Well, I shouldn't say it means nothing. It means Trump has to have a huge lead. If Trump doesn't have a monstrous lead with that little having come in from the Atlanta area, he would be a loser. There's no two ways about it. So he's doing what he needs to do, basically. Aiden Reuter, thanks for the super chat. Says, hey Curtis, much love from Ohio. Admittedly, I couldn't bring myself to vote as I can't stand Trump or Harris. That's understandable. And I'm not going out of my way to vote a third party that stands no chance anyway. That's fair. I completely understand that. I think there's a significant number of people who feel that way, my friend. And I can certainly understand it. I've said all along, it's amazing that when you think about it, both of these candidates are weak. There was a prime opportunity for both sides to get an easy win. But the Democrats were locked into Harris because for some reason, even though she's not popular in her own party, Biden picked her 4 years ago as a bad choice. And the Republicans were locked into Trump because he's got his hardcore base. And if Trump wasn't the nominee, they weren't going to win because a lot of his hardcore base, they're not going to vote for Harris, but they'd have stayed home. So you had two very beatable candidates, but the other sides weren't able to come up with somebody who could take advantage of it. And take advantage of it to win in an easy, comfortable fashion. Excuse me, guys. Yeah, North Carolina is coming in really slow. Ohio, 15% in. Harris is up by 13. That's going to flip. Let me see what's going on in Ohio. That's got to be that. Yeah. Yep, all the major metropolitan areas are coming in. There's Cincinnati, 40% of the vote in. Yeah, Ohio will beat Trump. I saw one very respected analyst saying earlier, and he made sense. They figure Harris needs about 700,000 votes in Philadelphia. So she's got to overperform because I think Biden got like 620,000. Now, again, those numbers are always, there's going to be play in those numbers, but to give you an idea as they start coming in. Let's see. Oh, okay. He's doing Philadelphia County right now, just as we speak of it. Oh, Biden got 603,000 votes. Biden got 81.4% of Philadelphia County. It's obviously Harris is going to win Philadelphia County big. It's just a matter of how many people are going to vote in Philadelphia County. She needs big numbers. And he just, wow. I feel honored. John King is saying the exact same things I'm saying as I'm saying them. And I feel honored because I'm a big nerd for him. I think he's a good numbers guy. If you had CNN on as I was talking, well, there's a little delay here, but as I was talking, we were saying the exact same shit. Jill says, I'm going to have an old fashioned for tonight. That's understandable too. Verlos says, look at Virginia. What's Virginia doing right now? Anything new come in? Virginia. Okay, it's down to 11 points now. So some of the rural areas, rural areas started coming in. The D.C. areas, which you got to watch, 26% in Prince William, 44% in Fairfax, 95% in Loudoun. Ooh, okay. All right. Harris doesn't have a ton more votes coming in that. If you look at Virginia, look in the upper, it's the northeastern corner. That's where the big hunk of her votes have to come from. She's running up good numbers. I think should be good enough it's obviously going to be competitive. I think I don't want to say she'll be okay because there's just so much of the rural area that isn't in yet. But yes, if Harris didn't have a significant lead right now, she'd be in trouble because her best area is coming in pretty big numbers early when a lot of the rural areas have no reporting at all yet. Hold on here. I don't want to miss any. Tyler, thanks for the super chat, says, I think this next election cycle, third-party candidates will have a good chance to win after this election season. I wouldn't mind seeing them at least have a more significant impact. Sure, get away from the two-party system. Yeah, now he's got North Carolina up, and as you can say, Durham, it's all in. Raleigh, it's in. Charlotte, it's in. So that's... Yeah. 2.7, 2.8 million. Yeah, North Carolina's coming in slow. The biggest thing, if you're a Trump supporter, the thing like about North Carolina, of course, were the exit polls. Same with Georgia. Hold on a second. We got a super chat coming in. I'll catch her. Hey, my friend. Good to see you. Thank you for the super chat. He says, here's my prediction as a Euro that follows a lot of U.S. politics. Harris will win on two factors. Trump is hard to swallow to moderate peeps, and abortion issue is bigger than people think. No betting place agrees with me, but I guess we'll see. The exit polls are saying, for whatever they're worth, that abortion is usually like the third or fourth place issue. Economy is usually ahead of it. But you still, I won't say you're wrong at all. Absolutely could be right. And now they're giving a bunch more states to Trump. But, Florida just got called for Trump. So we know that. Bama for Trump, Oklahoma for Trump. These are all things that we knew. But no, you're absolutely everything you said is in Oklahoma for Trump is entirely possible. Now, Kamala has Massachusetts, of course. She has Maryland. See, no surprises yet. We're just starting to rack in the states that we know. D.C., she's got D.C. in the 3 votes. All right, so we're still waiting on Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Maine, Mississippi, New Hampshire, New Jersey, and many more. Go to the second page. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. Pennsylvania is the biggie. I really want to see Jersey, too. I don't think Trump wins. I think he makes it closer. No surprises so far, guys. None at all. Everything going as expected and things that were called. Hold on a second. We got... Okay, there, Arthur. There it is. There's your super chat. And Arthur, thank you for the super chat. Says they weren't wrong. We need to adopt Florida's system. Florida just boom, boom, boom every year. They got it down. Okay, now North Carolina just snugged right up. They had some rural vote come in. Georgia, Trump's still way ahead. It just means that Atlanta's still slow coming in. 183,000 ahead. Virginia, Kamala's still well ahead. But it's down to 10% now. I think she'll hold on to Virginia, but again, her meat and potatoes area has come in largely already. New Hampshire, yeah, a lot of people on the right wanted to believe Trump had a real shot in New Hampshire. It was a long shot. There's still it's only 10% in, still a chance, but it's possible. It's not likely. Ohio, Harris is up by 9 points. That's not going to hold. No, Trump will win Ohio. If Trump doesn't win Ohio, again, it's over. We're very early in the night, John King. Unfortunately, we've got a long way to go. Space Comer. Thanks for the super chat. Says my prediction is that Kamala wins Michigan. Wow. Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania wins it. Glad to see you covering this. I think she wins Michigan. I've got Wisconsin, Pennsylvania as just complete toss-ups. And I think Trump wins. I think Trump is going to win Georgia. And just from what I saw of the Republican heavy voting, I think he wins Arizona and Nevada. But you're right. If she holds that blue wall, if she wins Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, I don't know. Without an upset, I don't think Trump could beat her then, if I'm figuring right. If he got North Carolina, Georgia, no, I don't. Arizona, Nevada, I still think he'd come up short. He'd have to flip someplace else. Virginia or something, I don't know. But if she holds, again, that's off the top of my head. I could be wrong with the math. It'd be really close. All right, let's see. Let's see what Pennsylvania looks like right at the moment. Oh, we've only got Allegheny coming in. It's the only, it's the only one, only one reporting, and of course that's heavy Kamala. Let's see what they've done in North Carolina now. North Carolina. All right, now. Yeah, where's my Chatham, Moore, Lee, excuse me, Johnson. Yeah, North Carolina is just still too hard to call. Way too hard to call. Randolph, Orange, Wilson, Pitt. Wade and Pender. Excuse me, guys. I'm not talking. I'm just looking through and Iredell, Davy, Carabas, Stanley, Union. Our count now. I voted. Yeah, we're heavily Trump. 4% in. We're up by 8. That figured. I was just looking to see living in North Carolina and see what was going on there. So basically, guys, as of 8:06 p.m., we know a lot of nothing. Again, I still will say right now, just at this moment, from what we've seen between votes coming in and exit polls, I'd rather be Trump than Harris, but just by a little bit, and that could change any moment if a big vote dump comes in a specific state. New Hampshire is still at 12 points. Yeah, very early results. Yep. Okay. North Carolina, it's really 7% still. They're taking forever to get the votes moving here. All right, Georgia, Atlanta starting to fill in. Ooh. And Trump is still up by 13. Ooh. I want him to show some of those Atlanta districts because if there's any significant number coming in Atlanta, well, there is. Okay, so you figure she's probably going to pick up another 100 there. Right. This is going to be super tight. Super tight. Oh, Trump should win Texas comfortably. Look fun. Yeah, he should win Texas comfortably. Yeah, don't get too concerned. Do you guys want me to look at Texas? Um, Texas right now, Harris up by 5. Let's see yeah, Dallas. 60% of the vote is in Dallas, which is heavily Democrat. So is Austin. So are most of the major cities. And basically next to nothing coming in the rural areas. And even Denton, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas, Trump has a significant lead with 85% in. I don't think you have any worries in Texas. I would be shocked. As soon as you guys told me it was blue right now, I knew it had to be Dallas or Austin or one of those was reporting big early. Yeah, Georgia just, they're not reporting Atlanta yet, so you just don't know. Without numbers from Atlanta, Georgia means nothing. South Carolina, Trump's got a significant lead. We know South Carolina is going Trump. It's funny how North Carolina, South Carolina is sharing so many demographics, but South Carolina's solid red, and North Carolina is absolutely purple. Pennsylvania's got 5% in, huge lead for Harris, but again, it's because it was all urban. This is going to be a long night. Florida going to Trump, yeah, was always expected. I think it's going. He's winning it even more convincingly than a lot of people thought he would. He is up. Oh yeah, he's up 11.6 now. Is the Panhandle filling in? Yeah, that's why the Panhandle's starting to fill in. He's winning it by more, I believe, than people typically thought. But except for some dumb people on the internet who were just trying to rile people up, trying to get a base believing in things that weren't there for engagement. Yeah, see, Harris is way ahead in Pennsylvania because it's all coming in from Philadelphia County. So she's at 17%, 99,000 votes. So what that be? Needs 6 times. It's got to come in bigger than that for her, I think. Oof. I don't think the percentage matters in Philadelphia County as much as the overall vote. She needs a lot of votes in there. Yeah. There's 700 votes in that county, dude. Don't even bother with it. Texas just turned red. Yeah, Texas will be red. Umo. That was just a huge dump in Dallas. That's all it was. Lick says, I was under the impression that Texas was more purple nowadays. It's more purple than it was 12 years ago, typically, or even 20 years ago, we'll say. But statewide, it's tough. Basically, it was Austin, and to a smaller part, Dallas, had a lot of influx, a lot of liberal influx. The rest of the state, all the rural areas are still heavy red. Ted Cruz, as I said, I don't think he loses. He could be more of, it could be closer for him because he's just not a popular guy. But I think Trump wins. I don't think he wins Texas as big as he won Florida, or he's going to win Florida, it seems, but he should win that rather comfortably. Hold on, let me look at that. Anything here? No, nothing coming in there. Stormshot says, why is this feeling like Trump is going to win? As I said, my feeling right now is a slightly Trump. Very, very slightly, I think. And again, that's just based on what we're seeing so far in some swing states and some really big exit polls. But Pennsylvania, the exit polls were very fair, very close. So he's doing better. Yeah, it's all over. He's breaking down Pennsylvania right now, and even the early vote is all over. Trump overperforming in some counties, Harris overperforming in some counties. This is going to go on for a while, guys. Fulton County. Yeah, Fulton County is huge. And then Cobb County is not staying red. You know that, John. Right. But that's not that's only a few thousand votes, though, dude. Let's see what we got here. Oh, shoot. Here I am. Lex, thanks for the sticker. Game over. And Arthur, thanks for the super chat. I'm opposite Trump supporter, but feel Kamala win. Yeah, like I say, we know we're watching it live. It could easily go either way, and we don't know anything on Michigan and Wisconsin yet, and they're going to be huge. Tennessee called. Yeah, we knew that, obviously. Oh, no. Oh, we're Senate. We're doing Senate. Florida, Rick Scott has won Florida. Democrats were trying to make themselves believe they had a shot there. They really didn't. Tennessee, we knew was going to Marsha Blackburn. Texas, you got to watch out for Cruz. And Indiana, yeah, we knew that was staying red. So Rick Scott, he dodged any. I never bought into it. Most people didn't, but some people thought that he might be beatable in Florida, but no. Massachusetts, Warren won. Yeah, we know she would win easily. That was never in doubt. Chris Murphy wins in Connecticut. This is Senate. Yeah, again, that's a given. Not a Chris Murphy fan. I've never liked him, but but I don't vote in Connecticut, so what the hell do I know? Yeah, Kansas and Texas will go Trump. Rocky. Rhode Island, Senate, Democrat. Yes, we knew that one. No upsets. The only Senate race they've called that some people thought might be close was Florida, but it wasn't. And Sanders wins Vermont. Sanders will win Vermont, several months, maybe a couple of years after he dies. That's a given. What you really want to watch if you're watching Senate races, as I said, is Texas, to more of a degree Ohio, and of course Montana. Because all the late momentum in Ohio went Republican, surprisingly. All right, what do we got here? It's way early, but Allred actually has a lead on Cruz in Texas. I told you got to watch this one. You got to watch this one. It depends on what areas have come in, of course. Yeah, it's only 18%, 1.5 lead. Ooh, down to 0.7 lead. I think you're going to see Cruz make a run and probably win it by 2-3 points. Pennsylvania, Bob Casey, we know he's winning. Yeah, but Casey wins that one easy. Come on, guys. It doesn't matter that it's early. Casey is winning Pennsylvania. Yeah, that one's a given. Hey, Maureen, you're in Montana? Well, good to see you. I'm glad you popped in. Slotkin's lead Michigan. Rogers, I think, will make it closer than what we're seeing right now. She's up by 33. I don't. This was an open seat in Michigan. I don't think Rogers wins, but I think it's going to be way, way closer than that. And 26 outstanding. But watch Ohio Senate. As I said, Texas Senate and Montana Senate. I don't think you're going to see any flipping outside of them, potential flipping outside of them. Everything. Well, guys, I think we can say confidently that we're in for a very, very long night. I was hoping by now we might have a good indicator of where we're going to be, but we just don't. All I can say is, as I had mentioned, in all honesty, if I could pick one or the other from what I've seen, I'd rather be Trump than Harris, but just by that much. It could easily go either way. But yeah, I gotta catch some sleep. I get up early, and I would stay up for us more if I thought we were going to get anything big, but we're not. It's going to take a long time. We got to start getting numbers in Atlanta. We haven't even really seen anything yet in Michigan, Wisconsin. They're still coming up. Pennsylvania is going to be a long, long night. Georgia is going to be a long night. It's going to be a while. If I thought there was, if we had a chance to have a good idea, we'd stream even longer, but we just don't. Need music, yeah. And we'll go down to Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Harris might win. Oh, she absolutely might win, Brother E. It's going to be close. By tomorrow, we should have a better idea. We may not know for sure, but we should definitely have a much better idea, Tokyo. You're right. Guys, I just want to thank everybody for being in here and hanging out. And again, we once more did a political stream and had no vitriol, nobody calling each other names. I am just so impressed by that, and I thank you guys so much for that. Arthur says poly market shifting for Kamala fast for Pennsylvania. Yeah, it's just because, but you got to remember, Arthur, the volatility of the betting sites. All they're doing, a lot of people are only watching the numbers. They're not watching where they come from. Of course, Pennsylvania right now is going to have a big jump because Philadelphia is coming in before anything else. So poly market really doesn't mean much at all. Well, thank you. And thank you, Arthur, for the super chat. Thank you, Aiden, for the super chat. And he says, good night, Curtis. Good night to all you guys. Again, thank you guys so much, not only, again, for the camaraderie and hanging out with me and watching this, but for keeping it civil. I still say we're the only place I know of on the internet where you can have a significant number of people hanging out together, talking politics, and nobody's getting called names, nobody's losing their mind, nobody's, flipping their shit over things. It is what it is. I mean, as I said, I voted for Donald Trump. Kamala Harris wins, I'm going to get up the next day and I'm going to make my videos and I'm going to, as I said, have my little sausage sandwiches I like from Jimmy Dean for breakfast. And I'm going to live my life just the same as I have before. And hopefully all the rest of you can do the same no matter who wins. And Jill, thanks for super chat, says goodbye, everyone. I remember you all in therapy. Jill, when we have our Tangier running where you can post weird stuff to the stream, she always posts Plankton saying just that, so that was perfect. BB says we are cool because you are cool. Well, thank you, I appreciate that. Oh, those sandwiches are so good, SCP guys. Again, thank you so much. I mean, for making this enjoyable for me, and it really was. We'll talk again tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow, I'm hoping to get to stream. Maybe instead of gaming or something, we'll have an update tomorrow just to talk about what did happen. All right, guys, again, thank you so much. I appreciate it all, and I'll talk to y'all as soon as I can.